Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm going over my favorite bourbons and whiskeys for 2024. And this is an annual list I do, so sit back and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so I'm keeping my format the same for the last few years. I basically go over my favorite world whiskey, which is could be anything that's not made in America. So it could be Canadian, Irish, Scotch, Japanese, anything like that. Going to pick my favorite of those. I'm going to pick my favorite American non-bourbon whiskey, which is usually a rye or could be a single malt. And then I'm going to pick my top 3 favorite bourbons of the year. So these typically are all bourbons or whiskeys, I should say, that I definitely own a bottle of, that I acquired this year, that I've really been enjoying and find myself keep going back to. So they're not necessarily new releases from this year. They can be single barrels, but I haven't done any and don't plan on doing any store picks or barrel picks, I should say. If it is a single barrel, it's going to be a normal release that's always available on the shelf. Single barrel releases. But yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. My favorite world whiskey of 2024 is Monongahela 12 Cask Strength. So I will admit that I did not buy a lot of Scotches this year, or Irish for that matter. I've definitely scaled back on my purchasing. I haven't scaled back on my consumption. I don't think I've finished more bottles than I bought, which is good. But out of the ones I bought, this Monongahela 12 Cask Strength. This is, by the way, the 2023 edition, and it comes in at 60.1%, so 120.2 proof. Delicious sherry bomb of a Scotch. I've had the Monongahela 12 before, reviewed it or had it in some flights. Love it. Monongahela 12, it is a Scotch. It's non-peated, and it is finished in ex-bourbon and sherry casks. So, the normal Monongahela 12 definitely has more of a bourbon influence. I think this cask strength, the amount of sherry casks is quite a bit more than the amount of bourbon casks. The 2022 edition, I hear, is total sherry bomb. With delicious sherry. I thought this one was, the 2023 was, so I'd really like to try that 2022 from what I hear. But this is great. To me, this compares with Aberlour Buna, which is another cask strength Scotch, which is a sherry bomb. And I think it's been one of my favorite world whiskeys in the past. So this really ranked right up there. Really enjoyed this Monongahela 12 cask strength. All right, next move on to my favorite American non-bourbon whiskey. This year is going to go to another rye. In fact, I'm going to call 2024 the year of the rye. There were just so many ryes that came out this past year that I got a hold of, that I purchased or had samples of, and crazy amounts. I would say I had as much rye this past year as I had bourbon. There were things like new releases from Green River. There was Hard Truth made a strong appearance with a bunch of ryes. Raconteur Rye, came out from David Jennings and the Woodwork Collective. They've had a couple releases of that. It's a great rye to get a hold of right there. So just so many great ryes for 2024. But the one that I kept going back to, that I was super happy to get a hold of, and I've definitely bought a couple of backup bottles, is Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. So this, like I say, is a single barrel, but it's available as a regular release. So each barrel is going to be a little different. This is one of my older ones I have here. It was actually bottled in late October 2023. I got it right at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And this one comes in at 133.7 proof. So, the proofs on these are going to vary around. They're going to go from the high 120s to the high 130s. So they're definitely proofy as far as the proof goes. I think they drink a little bit below their proof point. I'm not saying that they're not hot. They can be, but they're delicious. Got a lot of flavor. The rye mash bill that Jack Daniel's uses is 70% rye, and then I believe 18% corn, 12% malt barley. But I think this drinks close to a bourbon. You could easily mistake it for a bourbon. I think it's not even a barely legal rye. Just at 51% rye. It's 70% rye, and it's got a lot of flavor. It's got sweetness. It has great mouthfeel, great spice, great finish. It is a delicious bottle. Really like this guy. So be on the lookout for him. It should be easy to pick up. I've seen it all over stores this year. All right, moving along. Let's go to my top favorite bourbons of 2024. As I said, I'm going to give you my top 3. That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. But this year, I'm actually going to throw a 4th one in there, my top 4. And my 4th place that I just had to keep on the list, I couldn't knock it off completely because it's a great bottle, is sitting right here, and it is Wild Turkey, Jimmy Russell's 70th anniversary release. This comes in, it's listed as 8 years old. There's definitely some older whiskey in here. It's 101 proof, so it's basically like Wild Turkey 101 or Kentucky Spirit. But this has a great flavor, better mouthfeel, better sweetness and spice all around on the finish than regular Wild Turkey 101. So was really shocked that this has disappeared off the shelves so fast. I kept hearing rumors that this was going to be a huge release, would be around for a long time. But as soon as it hits shelves anywhere, it disappears. I know it hasn't hit shelves everywhere across the country yet. I think there's still some states that are holding back, or there's some distributors that have it stocked up that haven't released it yet. So be on the lookout. It's still coming out in some places, I believe. But I know here it came out in a couple of waves, and I was able to get a couple bottles each time. But like I say, it disappeared a lot faster than I expected. Awesome pour right here. That's going to take me up to my 3rd place bourbon of 2024, and that is going to be Old Forester 117 series. This is the High Angel share. So this is the 3rd release of this, and the 117 series has been a great series for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've been collecting many of them, not all of them, but many of them. And I really hadn't cracked any open until this year, so I've cracked several of them open this year. And this guy I fell in love with. It's the highest proof of all of them that have come out, so it's 110 proof, and it just has a real viscous mouthfeel, real great flavor. I love Old Forester, and this is great. I mean, I know they've come out with, in the past year, the 1924, which I think is, probably the same as some of these flavors and viscosity and all that, but it's 10 years old. But it's only 100 proof. Probably about the same price when you break it down, because these are only $3.75 bottles, and they're like $60. So I think the 1924 is close to $120. And it should be coming out again this year. It's supposed to be an annual release. So been real happy with this guy. I know the latest 117 release just came out was Warehouse I think. And it's 10 years old, but it's only 90 proof, 90-something proof. Which a lot of the 117s have been, So, this guy, really enjoyable, and came in at 110 proof, and my 3rd favorite of the year. Let me move it over here. All right, my 2nd favorite bourbon of 2024, and my 1st and 2nd place was a real shootout. I definitely had to put them head to head a couple of times, and the results were the same every time. So, in the end, I'm happy with the results. So my number 2 is Bardstown Discovery Series number 12. So from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So this bottle should still be coming out in some places. There should be available, I would hope. Although it seems to have disappeared quickly also, and I haven't seen it around. But I picked this up at the distillery back in September or so, and this is great. I mean, I remember 3 or 4 years ago when, Bardstown, the Discovery Series, especially the number 3 and number 4 releases, were the talk of the town, and a lot of people's favorites of the year and all that. Definitely, they seem to have fallen off with the batch release 5, through 10. They are very open about their blends, but I think one thing that happened there for a while was they definitely had some Tennessee whiskey in there, which a lot of people attribute to Dickel, and they get a certain minerality taste on that. Some people are okay with it, some people don't like it. This has all Kentucky in it. Disco 11 was too. Discovery number 11 was also. This one actually has a little bit of Bardstown's own whiskey in it. So I know this past year they released their Origin series, which is their own whiskey, which is now 6 years old. They've got some old enough. They've been releasing their own, so they put some of that into this blend along with some other. But rumor has it that this top listed one here, which is 48% of this blend, comes from Wild Turkey. So it has the right Wild Turkey mash bill on it. 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. But Disco 11 supposedly had that same Wild Turkey in it too. So I had some sample pours of Discovery 11, and it was delicious too. So I think either one of them, you can't go wrong with Discovery 11 or 12. Some people have been comparing the two, and some people like 11 better, some people like 12 better. I don't have a bottle of 11. I just have the bottle of 12, and this is fabulous. I love it. So be on the lookout for that. That brings me to my top favorite bourbon of 2024, and that is going to be K. Luke. And I've got a couple ones here, but these are batched. These are blended batches of straight whiskey, and they do tell you that the whiskey is from Kentucky and Indiana on these ones I have. I have batch 6 and batch 10. I know I had samples of 7 and 9. I'm not sure about 8. Might have missed 8, but they've all been delicious. And like I say, I ran some head-to-head blinds of my own with 6 against Discovery 12, 6-1. I did 10 against Discovery 12, 10-1. I did all 3 of them together, and these 2 both actually came out above this. So obviously the K. Luke fits my palate, my flavor profile a little better than the Discovery did. But it was so close. It was so close. The noses were all great. The taste, it was splitting hairs. But these are a little bit different proof. This was 119.8 proof on the 6, is 120.2 proof on the batch 10. They don't really give you an age on any of it, or they don't break it down like Bardstown does. It does say high and low rye mash bills, the blend, and it does say from Kentucky and Indiana. So where they're getting that from. Jonathan Maizano is the blender of this, and I did a review of 6, so you can look for that. But these are great. 10's absolutely still on the shelves. I've seen it just in the last week. I've seen it at 2 different stores. There's probably other ones on the shelves, and there should be more coming out. So I think this K. Luke is great deal. Some delicious whiskey. So all right, so there you have it. That was my list of my top favorite world whiskey, my top favorite rye whiskey, my top favorite bourbons of 2024. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think of my list. If you've had any of these, if you enjoy these, if you agree, disagree, leave some comments. Let me know. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Trying to grow. Hopefully I'll get to 1,000 subscribers here in the next year or so. I'm getting close to 800. It's been a fun ride. I really enjoy doing these annual videos. Well, everything poured, so let me pour some K. Luke here. This is the batch 10. Should have had that poured in advance, but sweet on the nose. Sweet, spicy. Delicious. Everything you want in a bourbon. Everything I want in a bourbon. All right, remember everybody, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon. Best bourbon comes from Kentucky. Cheers.